Welcome to the question part of our analysis through technology for A-level PE. Hopefully you've watched the first video I've done on this, which explains to you the type of analysis that you need to know for A-level, such as wind tunnels, limb kinematics and force plates. Now we're going to go through some questions. I've looked up past paper questions. There's not a great deal on this topic, but there are a few we can use. We can use the existing ones to think about future questions that might come up just on different types of analysis or technology. So first up, let's have a little look. If I can make this question bigger, there you go. So this is a past paper question. Wind tunnels are one of many new technologies used by sports scientists to enhance performance. Outline one situation where a wind tunnel was used to enhance performance. Two benefits of this technology and one disadvantage. So firstly, we need to identify a situation where or a sport where this wind tunnel might be used. That's a application grade, an AO2, assessment objective 2, and then outline one situation where wind tunnel is used to enhance performance. Two benefits of this technology. So that's going to be a evaluation and analysis mark, so assessment objective 3, two of them, and one disadvantage. Again, assessment objective 3 that you're going to get a mark for. There's the 4 marks altogether. So let's tackle the first part of the question. Outline one situation where a wind tunnel is used, and this is quite simple. All we need to do is state cycling. That's all we're going to use. It's the most common one that we're going to talk about. You could say Formula 1, you could say speed skating, you could say downhill skier, and there's probably a few others you could mention as well, but I would keep it nice and simple and say cycling, and this will help you for the second part of the question as well, because then you can talk about how wind tunnels can benefit not only the sort of positioning and the streamlining and the aerodynamic position of the cyclist, but also we can adapt the equipment that the cyclist is using, such as a helmet and perhaps the bike itself. Okay, so cycling, that'll get you a mark for that question. For the second part of the question, so the two benefits of this technology of wind tunnels. So like I said earlier, improved technique, optimal body position, and again this really applies to cyclists. What is the optimal position, or skiers perhaps? Reduced drag and air resistance on that cyclist, so getting into that streamline, small cross-sectional area, position to reduce air resistance. And then for your second mark, you want to mention increased streamlining, aerodynamic design. So we're looking more at the actual equipment here. It could be the helmet of the cyclist or the bike itself. It could be regarding a Formula 1 car, ski equipment for example. So improving airflow around the object to make it more streamlined, increased lift or downforce, again that could be for Formula 1, and improving design. So again, that could be your car, a Formula 1 car, that could be a bike for a cyclist, or the helmet that a cyclist or a skier is wearing. On to the final part of this question. What is the disadvantage of wind tunnels? And we spoke about this in the previous video, and most people got this in when this was an exam question. It's expensive, it's specialist equipment, it's not available to all, data requires complex analysis. You need qualified and skilled technicians to evaluate the data as well. So that's you can get any of those disadvantages. They're also the same sort of thing. That's a nice easy mark to pick up, and you can use that for any type of analysis. You can use that for force plates, you can use that for limb kinematics as well. Okay, it's a shorter question from a past paper. Identify technology that is used in performance analysis to improve streamlining of an object and evaluate human movement in 3 dimensions. So 2 types of analysis there. You should know this. If you watched the previous video, you should be able to get this. So streamlining is exactly what we've been talking about, is wind tunnels. All you have to write, and you've got the mark, easy marks. Evaluate human movement in 3 dimensions. Now the answer to this is limb kinematics. Okay, and it could be slightly confusing if you really know your stuff, because obviously on a force plate platform, again if you were listening to the last video, it can measure force in 3 directions, but it doesn't mean it's 3-dimensional. And the reason this is limb kinematics is because we can put that, once we've got the infrared cameras and the markers, we can put that image into a 3D image, and that's what those 3 dimensions are. So that question, the answer to that question is limb kinematics. Fairly simple. Now, if you wanted to work on, if I just make this large, if you wanted to work on some different questions that have a possibility of coming up in future tests, just change some of the techniques or the method of analysis round. So this question that we tackled first was about wind tunnels. So just change wind tunnels to limb kinematics or force plates. Give 2 advantages and give the disadvantage. Remember that the disadvantage is usually quite consistent. But have a go at that. These are the sort of questions that could possibly come up in future years, and they're fairly simple. If you've done your research, if you've read your textbook, if you've watched these videos, then you should be fine with the advantages and the uses and the disadvantages of these methods of analysing performance. Okay, hope you enjoyed that.